Yeah. Before we go, so I pulled this out of Wikipedia. This is just your part on Wikipedia
Oh my
of
God.
awards
Oh no, that's
that you have been
depressing.
nominated for or won. And it goes on and on and
That's because
on
I'm
and
very,
on
very
and
old,
on.
Pete.
It is an extraordinary body of work that has been recognized, over the years. It really is amazing, Where do you keep them all?
I don't know. I've lost a lot of them, I think.
How dare you give your back to me? After all I've given to you. It's not even justice. It's more petty than that. It's vengeance you seek. Never mind he'll be arrested in the morning. You'd rather put the bullet in him yourself. Then it's you in prison, and the ranch is lost all the same. You think it's you who suffered the most? How would you know? You were asleep half the time. Well, I bathed you and spoon-fed you like an infant. I wiped your ass like an infant. Well, I shoveled graves between unanswered prayers. You don't know what it is to suffer. Emma did. She suffered her way into the hole I dug her. Elizabeth knows it. Father in the ground, family gone, stuck in this house like a dungeon. Can you fathom the strength it took for that girl to smile again? If there is a line forming for vengeance, you are at the back of it. We've abandoned any desire for vengeance, even Jack, for you. I wonder if your pride can withstand the sacrifice of showing us the same courtesy.
Welcome to the actor's side. Today, she needs no introduction. I truly mean that. She's won every award there is to win and has been in all kinds of movies, stage, television, you name it. She's done it. Welcome, Dame Helen Mirren, to the
Hello,
actor's
Pete.
side.
Nice to see you again.
Really, when you look at your career, it is so impressive in a way of all the different kinds of things you choose to do.
I do like to mix it up.
You
Absolutely.
do, don't you?
I love to mix it up.
Yeah.
I haven't won every award. I haven't won a Grammy.
I
Which
knew
is
that.
very annoying. But unfortunately, I absolutely can't sing. So I don't know how I'm going to inveigle my way into
I wasn't going to start with this, but I will tell you how you're going to win a Grammy.
Oh, tell me.
Because if you've seen Kendrick Lamar's Count Me Out
Yes.
music video,
Yes.
you're dominant in that. You play the therapist there, and throughout that whole video, it's really good. He's so
well,
great.
He's a genius. He's his own kind of incredibly, impressive creative force, and he's the real deal for sure.
Had you known him, or how did you?
No,
get
not really. No,
Yeah.
I didn't know him. But he asked me to, to participate, and of course he's the kind of artist that I particularly love. That
Right.
sort of very uncompromising, very serious artist, and so I was very happy to be a part of that. Yeah.
It's great. First of all, it's a great song.
I'm glad you know about that, because
Oh,
not
yeah.
everybody does. Yeah.
Yes, and I looked and I
It's
said,
a great
well,
song,
this
isn't
is
it?
going to make her an EGOT winner.
I
So
won't really
cool.
deserve it, though, because it's Kendrick's work, really.
Yeah, but
Yes.
in terms of music videos, when they use big stars and things, often they're just like edited in and out and all over the place.
Yes.
You're on camera the entire time.
Yes.
It's quite something. And speaking of new projects that you've done, 1923 appears to me to be the first Western kind of thing
Yes,
you've
it
ever
is the
done.
first
It's
Western.
right. How
Yes,
have you
it is.
avoided the Old West
Yes.
for this long?
Well, by not being American, I think, probably.
Right.
But I did actually I came here to do theatre many, many, many years ago, in the late 60s, actually it was. And we were appearing in San Francisco, and our next appearance was in Detroit. And we had like 3 days off in between. And most of the cast, the theatre group, flew to Detroit. But I decided to take a train. So I took a train from San Francisco to Detroit. And that absolutely opened my eyes to what America is,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
which I had, you know, as a European, you can't really grasp. You really can't grasp it until you've seen those plains that people walked across to get
Oh,
to
yeah.
the West.
Yeah.
And you've seen that landscape. You've seen what, you know, there's a whole day on the train, which doesn't go fast, where you don't see a tree or a river or almost a bush. You just see flat plain.
Yeah, amazing.
And you just think of that courage and the commitment of those people, the strength of those people walking across. It really was very revelatory for me for beginning to grasp what America is, you know.
Yeah, much more than me. I basically fly over all of that.
Yeah, well, that's right.
And
yes,
most
that's
Americans
right.
probably
and
do.
all visitors always do. You know,
Yeah.
90% of visitors, absolutely. So it was a great experience. And no, you're right. I've never been in a Western, and this is the first time. But I never forgot that experience.
Yeah. Wow, and that's useful in this because this series and Yellowstone and 1883, all of those are all about that. It's about history.
It is.
in a
It
way.
is about history. I absolutely, and a great way to re-examine American history, without being. And maybe I am being incredibly pretentious in saying this, but I feel it's a bit like War and Peace. You know, a way of looking at huge arcs of history through personal stories.
Yeah.
Of people, which is, it seems to me, what Taylor Sheridan is doing. It's a wonderful piece of work to be a part of, I have to say. The totality of it.
The
you know.
totality of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, Cora Dutton's a great character. You know, I don't think you knew anything about her when you first signed on,
I
right?
didn't. No, I had
Yeah.
no idea. No, I hadn't read a script. But obviously I knew of Taylor's work.
Yeah.
But actually more, not so much Yellowstone, but more the films that he'd done.
They're great
written.
movies.
Great
Wind
movies.
River.
Wind River,
the
Helen High Water.
Helen High Water is
Sicarico.
fantastic. Yeah.
Incredible movies. An amazing, visceral, watchable, exciting writing. You know,
Yeah.
so, you know, if you see that work, you know, that's an amazing sort of calling card and a feeling of, therefore, of trust. And no, I didn't know, you know, where this character was going to go or how she was going to be. I met with Taylor because he said, you know, I said, can I read a script? He said, there is no script.
Yeah.
I write when I know who's playing the role, then I like to write.
That's interesting. I talk to a lot of writers and directors that don't write with anybody in particular in mind because they don't want to be disappointed
Yes,
if they can't get
right.
them.
Yes. Well, I think once he knows who he's got,
Yeah.
then he writes. So both Harrison and I signed up, you know, without seeing a single script, not having any idea who these characters were. But I did say to Taylor, well, if you're going to write for me, I think you should meet me, at least to kind of have a sense of who I am. So I went and had a great dinner with he and his wife, and off we went on our little adventure together.
It's amazing. Well, you're married to a Taylor.
I am, I know. So exactly.
So you can trust
so
them
I
just
can
by the
trust
name,
them.
right?
Yes, not get the name wrong. Yes.
You don't really ride horses in this, I've noticed much.
I don't. One of the things I said at that dinner is, Taylor, I can't ride. I don't ride. I've fallen off a horse many times,
Yeah.
but and I'm not frightened of horses or
Right.
anything. But I'm not an expert rider. So he took that on board and put me in a buggy, which was great. But I had to learn how to drive a buggy. But I loved my buggy.
That's it. I was talking to many of the other cast members last week on a virtual thing I had done with them. And they talked about cowboy camp.
Yes, it was very important, the cowboy camp, for all of us.
And you went to cowboy camp?
I did, yes, I did.
Wow, very
To learn
cool.
my buggy while they were learning riding and you know, sheep herding or cattle, not sheep herding, cattle herding. And that was an incredible bonding experience for all of us. For them in particular, I think for the young actors. It was very, very important. It was wonderful because it really made us all into a family. There was an incredible sense of community, and that we were all in this together in equal ways. You know, no one was higher than the other. It was a communal, endeavor.
I think people were shocked when the announcement came out that Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren were starring in a series spin-off, essentially, which is what this is. Both of you are, not used to doing regular series. You, of course, did Prime Suspect and others along the way, but not really a whole lot of
No,
series.
I've never done this sort of series.
Yeah.
Prime Suspect was very different because what we did was we did basically a 1 4-hour story that we shot over 2 to 3 months, every 18 months.
Ah.
So there was always a long break in between.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like this. This is and also I'd read the scripts before. This was a very different experience for both of us. But I think we both felt the same way in the sense that, we knew we were going to be working with an extraordinary talent in Taylor Sheridan, and that turned out to be absolutely true.
Do you like it? Do you like the series pace, the
I
television
love it.
pace?
I love it.
Yeah, it's different than
absolutely-
movies.
I think I love it. I think we are very spoiled in this, in the sense that it has a fantastic budget. The people involved in the work, the directors, and the producers, and of course our writer Taylor Sheridan, are of incredible quality,
Right.
really, really high quality. And we're given a lot of resources to make it. Having said that, we work very fast with multiple cameras, which I love. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
But never more than 3 to 4 takes of anything, really. So we can get a lot of work done in one day. We can do 3 scenes in one day, and I like that pace of work.
Yeah.
I like to work fast. I like to commit quickly and work fast, jump in.
You're doing a second season of it, I guess.
I hope so. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I think we are. Yeah, yeah.
That's
we
what
are.
they said. I thought
Yeah.
it was renewed.
I know. I think yes.
Yeah, which is great. Had you watched Yellowstone a lot or 1883?
Not a lot. I saw a bit of Yellowstone, and it, of course, it's very, very watchable.
Yeah.
And 1883
great.
I watched as well, and
Yeah.
was blown away again by the production values of it, by the story of it, and the story of those people crossing those plains that I'd been across in my train. So and it brought to life that very thing, moment in American history that had so affected me when I was on that train.
You worked with Harrison in Mosquito Coast. That was the only time, right?
That's the only time
This
we worked
is
together.
the grand
yes.
reunion.
Yes.
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 And what is he like as an actor, especially one that you have kind of a secondhand knowledge
I
of
think
working with?
Harrison's just so interesting because, he was a huge star when I worked with him on Mosquito Coast. I was in my own little way in England, I'd done a lot of theatre and I'd done quite a lot of television.
Yeah.
I was certainly not at all known in America. I'd done a little bit of work in America, but not a lot. Some of my films had been distributed in America. The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover, for
Great.
example.
How about Age of Consent?
Age of Consent too. But, Harrison was up here and I was like down here somewhere. And he's such an interesting person because he is this huge star and has been for such a long time, and absolutely rightfully, because he's such a how can I put, his presence on screen is he's so there when he's on the screen.
Right.
Not by acting, or he just is there, and it's palpable, and he's what's known as a movie star, in every sense of the word. But within himself, what he doesn't have, it seems to me, is that overweening pride or ego or feeling about wanting to be looked at. He doesn't. He's the opposite, it seems to me. So you've got this dichotomy going on. And that must have been very difficult for him in his life, I think, to be an enormous film star who doesn't actually want to be looked at particularly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or flaunt it or, play it up.
Well, he's still doing Indiana Jones.
Yes, yes, I know exactly.
And he did
But
Star Wars again. I
think
mean, yeah, when you're on
he's
that.
come to a place that is has made him into a really beautiful person. He's incredibly professional, which I always love. That's what I like. But there's a sort of knowledge and a acceptance within himself of who he is. I don't like really to talk about people, and I am talking about Harrison. So, but I find him just so interesting, and it's weird, we came together after 30 more odd years apart, and it was absolutely as if we'd spent every weekend with each other for the past. It was the time just, and we were just together.
That's amazing.
And had an immediate contact, which of course you need if you're playing a couple who have been married for 50, 60 years or something. And you've got to do that on screen. You've got to, as lived in as the land, exactly.
Yeah.
You've got to feel that they have that history and they know each other like that. And it was easy with Harrison.
It's amazing. I haven't talked to you since the Queen passed, but I'm wondering what you felt when that happened. You are such a big part of her life cinematically.
Yes, I was. Yes.
And you've won Oscars and Tonys and British Academy Awards for playing her and other British queens. I don't think anybody's played more British queens than you have.
I don't know. Yeah.
What was that like?
And Egyptian ones.
Yeah.
It was. Well, we knew it was coming, and I knew it, but my sister and I would often say, I don't want the Queen to die. She will die in our lifetime, but I don't want her to die, because she was such an intrinsic part of our culture, obviously our history, it goes without saying, but of our understanding of ourselves as British.
Right.
And what that meant in terms of character, in terms of attitude. She was sort of an intrinsic part of that, sometimes without us even being aware of it. And I was very, and I do still feel that the loss of the common market, Brexit, followed closely by the loss of the Queen, I think has left the British people like slightly unmoored. We're not quite sure who we are, where we fit in the on the international stage, on the world stage. Kind of, who are we now?
Yeah, it's becoming so much about Harry and Meghan and different things.
Yes, I think that's something that will fade away very, very rapidly, incidentally. And I do think Charles was very much brought up in the tradition of his parents, his grandparents, his great-grandparents,
right.
And now he's carrying that weight, if you like, and you can see William already as being, brought into that consciousness of duty and dedication and all the rest of it. So it'd be interesting to see where we go as a nation. But I think it was a very, very, we all knew it was coming. We were very lucky to have the Queen as long as we did, and we knew sooner or later it was going to happen. But knowing that it was going to happen and then dealing with it when it does happen are sort of two different things. You know?
You got to ride a horse. I'm just thinking right now. Yeah.
Well, I did do a wonderful thing. I'm so glad that I was allowed to do it. Not long, it must have been about a month before the Queen died, if that. There was a horse show at Windsor. They would have it each year for the Queen, because as we know, she loved horses more than anything. And so they'd put on this fantastic horse show for her. And I'd been at the horse show once before as a narrator, and they asked me back. And this was a special Jubilee horse show, celebration. So it was massive. And I was dressed as Elizabeth I. And I got to go and in front of the Queen do that Elizabeth's famous speech, if I had the heart, I have the heart and body of a woman, but I have the heart but I have the heart of a king and a king of England too. It's amazing, Elizabeth I speech.
Yeah.
And I got to say that to Her Majesty in front of her. But more than that, at the end of the show, I was the last person on this huge arena, and all the soldiers and everyone was standing, all to attention, and the drummers and the horses, and there were about 300, people in the arena, and I got to go in Queen Victoria's little coach, not a covered coach, open coach, and stand in front of the Queen. I'm sorry, Pete, if I cry when I'm saying this. I do apologise, but I had to say thank you, Your Majesty, for everything you've done for this country. Looking at her, and just basically say thank you on behalf of the country for her service and her duty. And very shortly after that, she left us.
Wow.
So that was an amazing experience to have.
That was amazing.
That was an amazing experience.
Wow. Do you ever tire of acting? You seem like you are like on your first day to me, excited by this world that you chose as a profession.
I am. Well, I think that's why I like to mix it up, Pete, that I go from, Barbie.
I know. I was going to, the list of things coming up, it's amazing. You've got the narrator in Barbie.
Yeah.
Queenie.
Yes, Queenie, Fast and Furious,
Fast
absolutely.
10's coming up, and you've been in 4 of those. Whitebird, which I've seen.
Yes.
I saw it several months ago. They just wanted to show it to me.
Yes.
It's extraordinary.
Did you enjoy it? It's beautiful stories.
It's a beautiful story.
Very, very powerful.
And they just dropped the trailer.
Yes.
Finally.
Oh, did they?
It's going to open August 25th.
Yes. Oh, that's exciting.
Which
Golda,
is great.
Of course.
Golda is supposed to open the same day.
Yes, I know. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That's amazing. Golda, I was going to ask you about Golda, because that's another extraordinary woman, extraordinary opportunity. I don't understand the internet today, but you have played many Jewish figures, and there was not the kind of outcry. How can someone who's not Jewish play this
it's
role?
funny. I think that this is true, and you're right. I've played many Jewish roles before, but Golda was so archetypal. So I can understand the people saying, "Oh, should this really happen?" But there we go. It's a legitimate discussion, I think, but. I think it only happened with Golda, as I say, because she was so, such a powerful archetypal character.
One movie we talked about in the past, Woman in Gold.
Woman in Gold,
which is an extraordinary performance.
Yes,
and and The Debt and others that you've done.
Yes, absolutely.
So I just thought, what is it's the times we're living in.
Yeah, it is.
And the world of the internet. It makes it more difficult for actors, I think, because everything is analyzed before you even walk on the set.
Yes, but we can turn a blind eye to that as well, which is what I do. Yeah, absolutely. Just not go there, really.
Right.
Just not go there.
Yeah. Have you seen Barbie, by the way? I know you're there.
No, I haven't. No, I can't wait. Yeah.
Before we go, so I pulled this out of Wikipedia. This is just your part on Wikipedia of awards that you have been nominated for or won. And it goes on and on and
That's
on.
because I'm very, very old, Pete.
It is an extraordinary body of work that has been recognized, over the years. It really is amazing. Where do you keep them all?
I don't know. I've lost a lot of them, I think, Awards are funny. I mean, some of them are so awful. They're such sort of ghastly looking things. I mean, they're really horrible looking things. But a lot of them are beautiful.
Yeah.
I think the BAFTA is beautiful.
The BAFTA is the most beautiful one. I love the Oscar. I've always loved the Oscar.
And the SAG award is lovely as well.
That looks super. And you won the Life Achievement. That is super heavy.
Some of them are very beautiful.
Yeah.
But some of them are really funny and ridiculous.
Must be nice. Some of my awards. You are amazing all the time, and congratulations on all of these projects and
Thank
everything
you,
to
Pete.
come.
I'm very proud of 1923. I think it's it's going out on the on a quite a dangerous plank, which you could very easily sort of fall into the water and be eaten by the sharks. But I think it's going to be an important part of my life, playing Cara.
Yeah. It's a great character,
Yeah.
no question
Yeah.
about it. And congratulations on your first Western.
Thank you.
So
Yes,
nice,
thank
finally.
you.
But she's done it all.
Yeah.
Thank you, Helen Mirren.
Thank you,
so
Pete.
much.
Thank you.